Good day, Dima Siari. Welcome to yet another edition of Tellsomeone Podcast. You know what we do? We tell it better than the rest. Today I'm joined by a special guest here, all the way from Chiozi. She's originally from Vlefontein, you know. People always ask me why is your podcast always having people from Vlefontein and stuff like that. I mean, I cannot overlook the quality that we have in the community. I just can't. I mean, if there's any other better quality, you are welcome to come. But one must always look home first before going out. I mean, this guest of mine here, she's gifted in the field of poetry and also writing. She has written a book, a very complicated book, which you must get and just enlighten yourself. But she's here today. She's here to tell us all about it. Her name is Mulalo Mabogo. How are you, my sister?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Maybe before we can just get to the book itself, which is the reason why we're here. Can you just briefly tell us, Mulalo Mabogo?
Okay. Mulalo Mabogo. The Chiozi part is not important now. It was never important. I am Mulalo Mabogo. I'm still in Vlefontein. I'm born and bred in Vlefontein.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I grew up here from primary. I attended in Munjezi, and then I went to Makado Comprehensive. Back then it was something else, going to Makado Comprehensive. Before it was Makado Comprehensive, it was LT Villas.
Yeah.
So you can imagine going to LT Villas, in a like from a place like Vlefontein. It was something big for me.
It was multiracial.
Yeah, it was one of those things,
And
we had to fit in.
And they used to feel themselves, when some of us were busy walking to
Whose
school.
fault was it?
I don't know. But also it would have defied all the logic. I mean, if people had studied in town and they can't write, So your writing skills don't amaze me.
So basically, I had to do this.
You had to.
In few words, I had to do it. There's nothing surprising about it. Okay.
You are on social media.
Yes.
You are talking about 16 missed calls. You are talking about poetry. You are talking about a whole lot of things. But I want you to tell us about this new book that you've just written.
Okay.
I want to believe that, and I'm saying this purposefully, that I know this is not going to be the last time we sit with you.
Definitely. About
a book, because you can't write now and then just vanish. We want to hear more about you and your writing. Tell us about this book, 16 Missed Calls. What's happening?
I'm glad you also know the name, Okay, my book is called 16 Missed Calls. I started the book, I think the journey started in June. But going back, I've always been a writer. I've always been somebody who likes writing, putting my thoughts down. For me, it was something that I could actually fulfills me, and it's something that also made me feel like validated. I think through writing, I felt like I'm validated, So the 16 Missed Call book is, I started it in June.
Maybe before you speak about 16 Missed Calls. So if you are writing, if like I have this problem, I express my thoughts better in writing. Doesn't that make you antisocial, to a certain extent? When I'm going through emotions, I just write. Why not talk?
I think because we're wired differently, and people are very different. For some people, we've got people who think that maybe if they go and interact with other people, then it makes them feel like they have to belong. So I think maybe this whole narrative of maybe thinking that you have to belong in a community, to be part of a community, to belong in it, I think it's not always a very good narrative. So for me, I grew up but for me personally, my journey and myself, I didn't really feel comfortable talking about people. Talking about my feelings with people. For me, it was always about through writing, even though it made me a bit antisocial. But I realized that sometimes I had to do it for myself so that I can actually grow. The inner me can grow, and my feelings can also be validated. But through people, when I was growing up, I didn't really find a lot of closure and a lot of understanding, when it comes to my problems and the things that I was facing in childhood. So when I wrote it down, I knew that sometimes I'm just gonna feel a little bit better, and it was like a driving factor for me.
But didn't that make you feel weak? That you can't speak. Imagine now you're going through emotions right now, and there is no pen and paper immediately available. So you must just rush home to go and write.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it becomes very difficult because you look at people and maybe you are weighing, something is weighing you down and you've got this whole, like a mountain on top of you. But at the end of the day, I think we heal differently.
Yeah.
And sometimes people can go to other people and still find themselves comfortable and still find themselves validated and fulfilled. And they feel better afterwards. But we've got a different, I mean, people we are very different and we are different, like I just said.
So has it worked for you so far?
Definitely
Is it
has.
something you can even recommend to someone that?
But it will depend on the character of a person. I cannot refer you. You know, I mean, for you it has to be about your mouth and your tongue. We are differently. I mean, for you have to talk. You know, yeah, so we are different. For me, writing down and expressing my feelings down, it made me feel better.
Ah, no, that's good.
Yeah.
Tell us about the book.
Oh, the book is amazing, guys. I don't want to blow my own horn.
No, you have to.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes we
If
have to
you
blow our own
if you
horn
have
there and
to
there.
do
You know.
it,
Yeah. We
if
just
you
have to. Yeah, maybe I should do it for some, just for now, you know.
man.
Okay, yeah, my book is 16 Missed Calls, and I started it in June. The journey started in June when I was sitting down this other time, and I was like, you know what, I really wanted to do something, and I told myself, if I don't start now, when am I going to start? You know, when is actually the time frame for me to actually start something? I was like, no, why don't you start now? You've got a time, you know, what can you do? Let me rather do it now. And I was like, really, Mulalo? Like, I had this conversation alone, you know, like I was busy contemplating, should I do it now? Should I go to the park and relax? Should I go and hang out with my friends? I was like, okay, why don't I just do this thing? Just do it now. Just start now. And can you believe it? I was just walking around the house contemplating alone whether I should do it or not. But I was like, damn, let me just put my phone down. Let me get my piece of paper and let me see what I can do. And then that's just how I started. I started it on the 6th of June, if I'm not mistaken. And then the story is about some of the chapters are a bit explicit. That's why I said 18 years and above.
Maybe before you get to the book itself and the contents therein, the name is very the name, man. I want you to tell us about the name itself first. Because but you know when you say 16 missed calls, I've watched certain horror movies where they'll say but what phone call, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like.
And you still remember the movie, right?
Yeah, you know.
That's what I wanted.
You know, when you said the book, the name of the book is 16 missed calls, I said, what is she up to?
Yeah.
Well, what's on her mind?
Yeah.
Well, what horror is this? You know.
I love that. I love the fact that you also know the name, and I also love the fact that you even related to something that you saw.
You can't forget
back.
that. It's just no way you can forget the name. 16 missed calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, perfect. Let me explain to you why I named the book 16 Missed Calls. Okay, so in the character, I mean, in the one of the chapters in the book, I think it was chapter 8. That's when the 16 Missed Calls name came from. Okay. So the lady in the book, the main character, if I can say in the book, her name is Mulalo. I had to use my name. I mean, put some respect in my name, hey? I was like, no, once I just need to use my own name here so that people can actually not forget about it, because this is my birthmark. So yeah, definitely this lady got 16 missed calls from the hospital when she just received the news that sad news that her husband actually passed away from the hospital. So she received 16 missed calls from the hospitals. I mean, from the hospital, which is Netcare Hospital in Polokwane, that her husband actually passed away in an accident. So the title comes from that. It was 16 missed calls, which she was trying to avoid because she didn't know the number. So she was like, no, I'm not going to answer this. And to her surprise and to her shock, in fact, it was just 16 missed call from the hospital. So that's why I decided, oh damn, you can just use actually the name for this book can be 16 missed calls.
Now tell us about the main character.
Oh, the main character is a lady who's a single mother. Okay, this lady is I think she's probably our age. I don't want to go straight directly so that you guys can actually buy the book. I mean, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know?
No, they are gonna buy the book.
Yeah, I hope so.
Who cannot buy a book called 16 Missed Calls?
From a lady in Playfontaine,
People
from
like
a lady
things.
in Venda. From a lady in Venda, in fact. So yes, the main character in the book is actually associating with a lot of things that are happening right now when it comes to mental health, depression, and all those things that we're actually facing today. And I can say that with no shame, I carry it with no shame, that is actually based on the things that have happened to me personally. So I think it becomes easier and for people to relate when you go through something that, when you write about something that you actually went through. It's raw, it's fresh, and people can actually relate, you know. So for me, this book, it was about this main character who was a single woman. And then she embarked on a journey to find somebody that she can actually call her own. You understand? Okay, she was working, she was independent. And then she found a guy who's a foreigner. And then this guy, like any other guy, not any, but like most of the guys, I don't mean to actually smash my black brothers. But yes, the lady found a guy who's a foreigner, and then they fell in love. Actually, she fell in love. The guy didn't fall in love with her. You understand? But yes, along the lines, she got pregnant with this guy, and then this guy was actually married. So she had to raise the baby alone. But then in the midst of her storms, in the midst of everything that was going on while she was pregnant, I think she was 8 months pregnant or 9 months pregnant, I'm not sure. She found a man who actually married her, a different man now, who actually married her in her pregnancy. Yeah, so...
What would you say? She did the right thing. The man was...
I cannot say she did the right thing or not, because, who can tell what the future holds, you know?
Yeah, but...
life is a give and take.
So, but this thing that you are pregnant, and then you are busy, engaged in programs of dating and stuff like that, it doesn't make sense.
To who?
Eh?
The question is to who?
Eh?
To who does it make sense to?
No, it just doesn't make sense.
But I want to understand to who. Yes, this is your own idea, and this is how you think. I'm trying to understand. But I don't blame you, because the society has shaped us into believing that women are supposed to actually bear with circumstances and bear with situations until maybe they are healed enough. But who has a time frame for healing? Who has a time frame for women to actually say, you know what, now is the right time for me to actually go out, now is the right time for me to actually date? Until when? Like, where does this whole narrative come from?
You know, I'm totally opposed to people who are who PDPs and children that should be there.
Yeah.
It can't be that when you're pregnant, you go and then want to date, and then tomorrow you say that you are done and stuff like that.
What do you mean you're done?
Like, what if maybe it did not work out and stuff like that and stuff?
But what if it does?
Yeah, but the risk, it comes with the risk. The risk thereof, it's just the problem.
I want you to understand. I want to understand actually the risk, the actual risk you're talking about. I want to understand that.
No,
what do you mean the risk?
The risk of just jumping from one relationship to the other, and then when things don't fall into place, you then want to claim mental health. You then want to claim depression and stuff like that.
But I think,
just don't...
Okay, I understand. I also think that maybe the word claim is a bit distasteful, you know. To say that you claim that you have mental problems. I don't think people actually claim that they have mental problems until maybe you go through that yourself. That's when maybe you can actually understand. You know, in English they say you don't know where the shoe pinches, but he who actually wears the shoe. So I think maybe this word of saying claim, people are claiming that they have got a mental health. I think it's very sad. It's very distasteful. Like I said, it's sad for us to actually use the word claim. But going back to your question again, I think this is a very broad conversation, if I can put it like that. Because as a lady myself, speaking from a lady's point of view, from a woman's point of view, actually, I'm not a ladies ambassador. I'm not a women's advocate. I'm not a feminism. Just to cut that short, because I know women are gonna come a feminist. No, I'm not a feminist. So this lady, like you just said, why is she actually going on and going risky? The risk part about her being pregnant and going and finding love again. She was not in the process of finding love. Love found her when she was not in the process of finding love. And the beautiful story about it is that the man actually married her while she was pregnant. How beautiful can that be, guys? Like, really?
So there are instances where you can find love, and love can find you.
Definitely.
Oh.
Yeah. There are people who are actually hungry for love, guys. Especially maybe after separations of divorces. But I cannot talk about divorce on behalf of divorces, because I've never been divorced. But definitely we've all had our fair share of heartbreaks, right? So for me, separation, some people take separation as a form of, you know what, I want to revenge. I want to go back there and actually find myself again, find another man who's going to love me. Or maybe find another woman who's going to be better than the previous one. Do you understand? But I think that is coming out of hurt. That is coming out of sadness and a lot of hurt, a lot of loneliness, a lot of many elements and many factors combined together. Do you understand? But for this woman, she was just in the mall, heavily pregnant as she is, just going out on her own, actually in the healing process. And then that's when she found love. She was not looking out for love. So I don't see the risk part about it. I don't see the unless you can explain to me, but I don't see the risk part about it. I don't see the claiming part about it. I don't see anything wrong with what she did.
No, I would think that if a woman is pregnant, would just take time to relax and not want to engage in external things that will in fact complicate a pregnancy and stuff like that. But this one, she was heartbroken, had the courage to even go and meet another person in a state.
And I love the courage, guys.
It's something that to me I am failing to comprehend.
Okay, I understand you. But this topic goes back again to the community and how we've been molded as a community and in a community, because I think it's, like I said before, it's a very broad conversation. Because for women can be widowed, right? But I don't know a title for a man who's actually lost their wife. I don't know, maybe there's such. Yeah, but there's things like that, especially in black communities. For a woman, she's gonna wait for 6 months or even a year, wearing those black attires and mourning their husband like he's king or something like that. I don't know. But for women, I mean, for a man, if a wife passed away, like 3 days, like, you know, he needs to get something, you know. I mean, they even say, he's a man, you see, you're even saying that is and then how different our emotions, how are the different emotions, how are our emotions different, if you can put it like that.
I think one thing that you need to understand is that if the sooner women get to understand that they will never be like us, the better the chances of them.
I love that, because it's exactly the same
navigating in this land
yeah,
without any discomfort
yeah,
and stuff like that.
I think that is very true. What you just said is very true. And the sooner men understand also that they cannot actually be women, that they're better. I think it goes both ways. I mean, I cannot unsex myself now, and you cannot unsex yourself and be a woman. I also cannot unsex myself and be a man right now. But we need to understand our gender roles in communities. We also need to understand who we are as communities. You're not bigger than me. I mean, how high do you sit? I'm also not bigger than you. How high do I sit as well? Our emotions are the same. And I think for women need to be liberated from this society standards that women are not supposed to be falling in love just after the husband passed away. Women are not supposed to be actually finding love when she's pregnant. I mean, who said that standard high?
No, but if we're going to live in a cultureless society, then we're not going anywhere. Because in Venda, there must be a mourning period where you must go through it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, the less said about this one who's pregnant and then he finds another man, I mean, it's something that even our society cannot even appreciate, because we're cultural, we're cultured.
And that's the thing that we need to unlearn as communities as well, because this whole standard that has been set by the community has actually aborted a lot of dreams, you know. This culture, this standard that society has set, and I don't know who actually has actually deprived a lot of women, deprived a lot of people for them to reach their goals and to reach. I mean, they instill fear in women more than in men. There's a lot of fear when it comes to women more than in men, because we believe that every time it's always about especially when you're a woman.
So this book that you've written, is it somewhat written with the idea of trying to place women at the place where they should be in society? Because I want to understand.
Yeah.
Did you also have that in mind?
Definitely had that in mind as well. And for me, to be fair, I also included the fact that this man actually married him. So we also need to give a round of applause to this man. I mean, it's very difficult for a man to find a woman who's pregnant and marry them. So I think this man is a man amongst much. I mean, this is the man that we actually call a man, because he stood up regardless of where this woman comes from, or regardless of who fathered the baby inside the tummy. But this man took his own initiative and said, I'm going to marry this woman, I'm going to wife this woman. So it goes back to another man's trash can be another man's gold and treasure, you understand? So I also had to put that in mind, so that we can actually put both genders in high places, so that we can understand that not all is lost and not all is bad. Women are not bad and men are not bad. We just need to come to a compromise.
I like the balance in the book, because immediately when you started explaining, I felt at some point that maybe you want to take a feminist approach and stuff like that. I don't have anything against feminists.
Really?
I don't. I just sometimes believe that they want things that cannot be done.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it also depends on the approach, because even if we've got, sorry to cut you short.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I just believe that it's not a problem to cut me short if there is an emergent point, but I just believe that feminists are unrealistic beings sometimes. They say things that even when they're sleeping in their own pillows, it does not make sense to them.
You can give me an example.
But for public views and likes on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, they will just be all over saying things. We can never eliminate the fact that a man is the head of the family. That is something that we can never shy away from, because you did not come and marry me. I'm the one who sent people to your home. In your home, they should have said, now that you have came, we will come as well. But that never happens. And it's something that we need to also bring to light. And these are things that feminists argue. They argue like this.
Okay, for me, I'm not going to really go deep into feminism, but I do believe what you just said right now, and I think it is very important what you just said, Hore, a man is the man of the house. Well, I mean, a man is actually, in the household, is the man of the house. But also, again, it goes back to the lady again, to the woman again inside the house. I mean, a lady must actually submit to the man. But how then do you submit to let me excuse my word, but how do you submit to nonsense? Do you understand? It's good when you're telling another lady, but when it goes back to your own mother, it's good when you're talking about another lady. You can tell me that and say, you know what, it's good when you say that to a man. But then it happened to your own mom. Let's bring it back to you. Let's bring it back to next to you. Let's bring it closer to you now.
Let's bring it home.
Yeah, let's bring it home. Yeah, you understand? Right now, we've got our own childhood traumas. We've got childhood bonds. We've got a lot of things that have happened in our childhood, right? Some of us, not some of us, but some of the people we know and very close to us, they didn't grow up with their fathers. Some didn't even grow up with their mothers. Their mothers were actually in Joburg trying to make a living for them. Most of us grew up with our grandmothers, if I can put it like that. So let's bring it home. When you say that, would you allow your mother or now when your own father is being just very disrespectful to your mother?
You know, I'm that kind of a person who, if let's say for example, I'm with a guy who's dating my sister, and this guy says, "No, man, let's go for a jol." I'm that guy who would go for a jol and would be fine. And then my sister never has to know, because I understand what it means to say "Utswara tipa ka bohale." You know,
maybe you can elaborate for me. Like, how am I supposed to "Utswara tipa ka bohale"? What is it? What are the in what extent should I "Utswara tipa ka bohale"?
You know. Okay, let me do this. Let me say this. Women must understand that their role in household far supersedes what they even think. They've got a much bigger role to play. We men were just ceremonial figures and stuff like that. And we mess up, we just continue to mess up. And if in the process of messing up, we fall in the hands of a weak woman who does not understand her role in that household, then I'm telling you, there's not going to be a household.
It's very sad what you just said, but it's mostly true. It's not my responsibility as a woman to carry a weak man. It's not my responsibility. It's not my responsibility. I'm not your mom. I'm not your mother. I'm not gonna carry you, and I've got children already. So now I must also mother you now. I'm mothering my kids. I'm also mothering you. So who's fathering me in that process, in the same very process, in the very same line? Who's fathering me?
No,
do you understand? No, because you say that if you get a weak woman, the household is actually going to collapse, right? If it was, that's what you're saying.
Yes.
But then why do you have to be weak? Why do you have to be weak?
No, but I'm saying we are wired differently.
Yes.
From women. I've seen situations where a man cheats and the household goes on to operate normally.
Yeah.
I've seen households where when a woman cheats, there's an irretrievable breakdown of that particular.
But I think what goes down there is that it's not like the household it keeps going on and on and on, or maybe everything is still going fresh and fine and everything is okay after the husband is cheated, or maybe the man is cheated. I think for women, they carry this with a lot of shame, right? And they carry it with a lot of sadness and a lot of hurt, a lot of depression. That's why sometimes you might find that women are dying inside. That's why some of them result in drinking. Some of them result in going vacations and moving out because they've been hurt. They feel like they've been betrayed, but they are very old. But for men, I always say that every man, the reason why they leave is because they know that their ego won't be able to carry them through. Because every man is born with a certain amount of ego in his humanity. Yeah. So men are very scared of losing their ego. Men are very scared of losing their pride because they feel that once they find out that my wife has cheated, it means that now I'm not a man enough. I'm not giving her enough. It goes back. It goes very deep. It goes even back to his own child, to his own manhood. He even starts believing that maybe his manhood is not enough. Maybe I'm not satisfying her. What is it that I've done? But let me tell you, the same conversation that you men have is the very same conversation that we women have as well. We also sit down after being cheated on and we ask ourselves, what did I do? Am I not enough? Especially if we find that the competition is very high, because as women, competition is in our blood. You found that you cheated with somebody who's like Nicki Minaj. I mean, where am I gonna get the big butt? You know? Do you understand? So I'm now trying to compare myself with that person. Like, what exactly is it that drove this man to actually go there? I'm trying to find something to hold on to. Maybe she's a yellow bone. Okay, maybe I must put something on my. Do you understand how damaging this is? This is not Mulalo who will go and buy things to make myself lighter or to make myself have a big butt, you know, stuff like that. But now the way cheating has damaged, I mean, can be so damaging. I can find myself in Hapatela and light and whatnot, so that I can actually be like that person. Do you understand? Yeah. This is how damaging it is. So for men, for them, they don't talk, they actually leave because they value themselves and they carry themselves so high. And they are ashamed of the society. They cannot carry the shame in the society. But for women, because they were born and they believe that they feel like it's their role to actually persevere. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they die of heart attack. They have high blood pressure in the long run. Do you understand how damaging this is?
No, it is. It is.
It is very damaging.
It is. You know, I hear what you say. I hear what you say. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. But I want to understand something. With this book that you have written,
yeah.
What do you want to educate society?
There's a lot of things I need to educate the community about. I mean, I would love to educate the community about, and it is it's a whole lot of things. But the most important thing again is trusting your journey. And also understanding that you don't have to be part of the world to belong in it. You don't have to be part of the society to belong in it. And another thing again is mental health, childhood traumas, PTSD, you understand? And also again, especially when it comes to women, that women, we are more than just our thighs. We are more than just our boobs. We are more than just our face. We can actually bring more. We are gold ourselves. And also again to men, it's very important for men to understand that it's okay to actually have a breakdown for men. It's actually okay for a man to feel weak. And sometimes it's okay for them to feel like they are not achieving and they are not having enough. It's okay for them to feel like that. But the most important thing again is how then do you actually carry yourself out of that situation? And another thing again is also, it goes back to respecting women. It's very important for men to respect women, because again in the Bible it says that it was even in order from the Bible that men must actually love their women and women must actually submit. So there's a reason why God places it like that. Whoever wrote the Bible, there's a reason why they put it like that, because we do understand that if you love your woman wholeheartedly and you give your woman love, I'm telling you, submission becomes effortless. It becomes easy for women to actually submit. When a woman loves, when a man is loving their family, this is very important. I think that is the first fundamental for a principle for women, for men actually. And I think again, you know, this thing of women going when they're about to get married. I think also the same thing should be done to men as well, because I think both genders are going to they are going to embark on a journey together. It's not only the woman who's actually embarking on a journey to a marriage. Even men are going on a journey to a whole new dimension. So I think that even men, maybe they should also have a man. I don't know, maybe a men's education, or maybe a men's learning. I don't know.
Men dialogue.
Yeah, when it comes to actually for married men, you know, for them to sit down and actually address such issues. I mean, challenges in marriages. Not only women should be told about. Those things are just. I hate those things. You know. I mean, personally, for me, those things are just. They're stupid, if I can put it like that, because they're actually telling me how bad marriage is going to be. You understand? When monas are going, okay, moto haitis or moto hapaki, moto haitis, you know, all those kind of things, moto aridi, moto abuzimu, you know, those kind of things. So I think those are the things we need to address as society. It is very important, and also for men to actually unlearn a whole lot of things and a whole lot of toxic traits that we carry with ourselves. I mean, I think those are the things I need to educate the community about in this book.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you know, you are unpacking. You are really unpacking. Maybe before we go, because we can talk the whole day.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been speaking and speaking. Who do you want to personally thank for having had the courage to be where you are today and write this book? It's going to be hitting the shelves very soon. It's going to be on the market. I think you need to send some special words of appreciation. I don't know to who.
Oh, there's a whole lot of people that I need to actually appreciate in this journey. But my father has been my rock. My mom has been my rock as well. You understand? And like Serena Williams said during her tournament, the last tournament, she said there wouldn't be Serena without Venus. So for me, there wouldn't be Mulalo without Mashudu. I mean, for me, my big sister has been my big in all times. Like, she has always been my big, even though there were cat fights and whatnot. But she has always been my big. So for that, I would like to thank my sisters, my mom and my dad. And also my partner who actually motivated me to write this book. So he has been my rock as well. So I mean, just to name a few. And also the publishing company as well. Mashia Modike, Ara Modike, she did an amazing job when it comes to the book. So also the people behind the book. So there's a whole lot of people that I need to appreciate, and those which I didn't mention, in my heart they remain. Yeah.
Yeah, well.
And also thanking you again for giving me this platform to come here, because I could see that, oh, there's a sadness face somewhere there.
I was not going to publish this podcast. I was just going to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, for some other time.
I don't know, but why do you speak about everyone and you don't mention me?
Yeah, no.
And then we have to redo it again.
Yeah, imagine.
You know, it has been very lovely to have you. I think women such as yourself must never undermine the role that you play in society because of the words that you utter. What you've just been speaking here is life to someone else who's listening at home. What you have written in that book contributes positively to someone out there, and Abori is going through a phase. And I just hope that you never undermine the role that you are doing. And I just wish that there's going to be another book as well. I'm told that you are not going to stop. There's a book called The Next Chapter. It's also coming. I heard from somewhere that
your resources.
Yeah, I've got sources. You know, I make sure that I research about my guests. So let the book, people go and buy that book. Go and buy that book and just read about Zutu Zabuchi, you know. Can't be reading my piano all the time. It's important. So
may I ask a question?
Yes.
Where do we find the book?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna leave my details with him.
Yeah.
It's from Facebook. You can get it. You can go to Mulalo Mabogo. I address myself Mulalo Mabogo. That's my stage name.
Yeah.
Mulalo Mabogo. And also on Instagram as well. You can find it, and also again on Twitter, not yet.
Yes.
But yeah, my Facebook, my numbers as well. I'll leave the numbers to him and everything to him so that you can actually.
Yeah. In fact, the numbers will be on the screen.
Yeah.
And also your Twitter, your Instagram, your everything and stuff like that.
Yeah, also Instagram is coming.
English came by a ship, so hey, so you must, yeah.
Oh. One more question. Mulalo, what would you advise your younger self if you had to go back and given the book now? What would you advise your younger self? What would be the advice you would tell that 15-year-old Mulalo who's still struggling with poetry at school? What
These
would you
two shall pass.
Simple as that.
These two shall pass.
Oh,
Yes.
I know. There's a man behind the camera there. He's doing us justice to this topic.
Definitely is. And I must also thank him as well. Mr. Kabelo Magato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they don't like this thing of Makatu. Mahat.
Oh, Magat. Oh, I must be careful with my tongue.
It must be that multiracial.
You must have that.
Yeah, you know.
By the way, I also wanted to recite something before I leave.
Yeah, please.
Okay, it's just a small poem for me, which I just wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Just encouraging people and for people to actually find healing.
Yes.
But even if it's just a short one.
No, this is the platform.
It's a
Abuse
good
it.
platform, yeah.
Use it.
As much as I want, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it goes. I called this poem "Tongues and Bones." It says, "I speak by the tongues of my ancestors. I walk by the toes of my forefathers. I think by the braids of my blood transparent. I dance by the body of my African brothers and sisters. There are times when one feels like being shattered, battered and stoned by hot coals. How does the earth forgive its people? How does the smell of coffee poured out on this dry earth become soft? Do you ever ask yourself that question? Do you ask why the quake of earth eats up its flesh? Why the spooky of scared dreams run in fear of the art form of broken horizons? Until the karoo grows, until it sings like nightingales, and until the birds flood the sky. We are creatures designed to the coffin, hidden in workshops, tempered with forgotten souls. In the same way that once mother gives birth, another mother loses her little one. Our tongues are again creatures that often forget to follow the human heart. I'll stop there. I'll stop right there.
I told you the talent in Fontaine is just big. You can't tamper with it. It's just big. Mulalo, thank you very much for.
Thank you so much for having me.
We've been trying to have you with. We've been trying. Today you are here. I'm happy. We've done justice.
I believe so.
Tellsomeone Podcast is happy.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it so much, and you're gonna get the book very soon.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our show. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button for more informative interviews such as this one. My name is Ramago Marendani, aka the SG. Subscribe.